Hi, my name is Melanie Williams. You'll find my website at melaniejwilliams.com. You'll find me on Facebook where I do some posting as well. So what I'm going to be talking to you about today is something that I call a daily practice. This is one of the tools that I teach to all of my students that helps them to each day sit down and work with the necessary tools that will help them move forward into their life. So I started doing my own journey many years ago, and teachers would say to me, or books would say to me, let that go, work on it, develop a greater self-love. And I was always so confused. I'd go home and I would think, or I'd finish a book or whatever it is, and I'd think, yeah, this sounds like a great idea, but I'd go home and I didn't have anything really concrete that kept me going day after day. And so this practice that I've developed for myself and then share with my students has come from many, many years of exploration. One of the things that I realized that many years ago, I would read a book. The first spiritual book that I read was Marianne Williamson's Return to Love. And I was introduced to her through Oprah when she was having a lot of these kind of authors and teachers on her program many years ago. And so I got that book and started reading it, and I noticed that my energy, my outlook on life, my perspective was so positive during those weeks when I was reading that book. And then I noticed after a few days that my energy started to drop, and I started going back into my own old patterns. So then, I searched out another book and read that and found that same thing. And so I noticed that I had that pattern. So what I didn't realize was that I was onto something, in that when I exposed myself to high energy through these spiritual teachings and getting my mind to reflect on things and to think about in new ways, it had me inspired, it had me excited. And what I didn't realize is that the daily component of it, or the almost daily component necessary to keep ourselves in that state of mind, I liken it to whether you are exercising or taking a shower or brushing your teeth, that you can't just do that once a month or a couple times a month or even once a week for it to have a great effect. It's much more helpful when it's daily or almost daily. Or as I like to say, more days than not during a week or a month. So this daily practice is a very specific formula. After my students have been studying with me for some time, I will allow them to have some fluctuation within it as they have many tools to work with. But initially, I really suggest that you stay with this specific formula. So a minimum amount of time that you really need is 30 minutes. And I suggest you actually get a timer, and that you will set the first 10 minutes to do the first third of the practice, and then when the buzzer rings, you set it again and do the second third, and then 10 minutes later will be the third third. So there are three components, and the first one is journaling. Second one is where you will use a clearing technique. The one that I typically use is EFT, and I have another video that teaches you how to do that. Or you can do the Byron Katie work, or maybe you have some other clearing techniques that you use, but it's really important to have a clearing technique that you use. And then the third one is to sit quietly, silently in meditation. So in the journaling component, it really is just to put pen to paper and to write freely and fluidly for those 10 minutes. Whatever comes out of your pen. Oftentimes what initially comes out is a lot of our garbage, a lot of our fears, our anxiety, the things that we're looping about. And then maybe we've been looping in these stories for many, many years, but we're just going to get it pen to paper. And I would suggest that in the last minute or so of that journaling, that you would also write several things that you feel gratitude for, just to balance it out a little bit. Later in your practice, you may spend those 10 minutes on gratitude, or maybe every other day. But initially, I want you to just put pen to paper and just write whatever comes out with no editing or deleting. After that 10 minutes, then I'd have you begin your clearing technique. And so you would have to have chosen something. If you have worked with me, or if you follow any of my blogs, sometimes I give you some other ideas as well. But this is 10 minutes of your clearing work. You may have found some things doing your journaling that really popped out at you that you like, oh, I want to work on this today. You may have something that has just cropped up the day before. It might be something more chronic that's been long-lasting that you want to work on. But there's many, many ideas. I never fail to have ideas of what I need to work on to clear on any given day. And then the third part is the meditation. And so this I look at in that things have kind of been stirred up. We've been going into the journaling, and then we go into the tapping, and things can kind of feel stirred up. And the meditation helps to calm everything down, helps you to connect with that deeper part inside of yourself, the quiet place. Your place of stillness helps you to connect with something greater than yourself. So those are the three pieces. Now, if once or twice a week you have 45 minutes, then I'd say 15, 15, 15. Or if you have a full hour, 20, 20, 20. And it's great if you can get longer practices in once or twice a week. But if you can't, don't worry about it. Just keep going. It's the consistency. It's the day after day. If I have been away from my daily practice for a few days because of a holiday or company, I always find myself really looking forward to it because it helps me to recenter, to reconnect with myself. One of the things that I used to hear all the time is that, well, you need to develop a deeper relationship with yourself. You need to get to know yourself better. You need to develop a greater love for yourself. And that's exactly what I think that this daily practice does. So when you meet your friends for coffee, when you have a phone date with them, you have FaceTime with them, you spend time talking to them, and they tell you what's going on in their lives. They share with you things that they may be struggling with. And then maybe you have a give and take where you kind of help them to process with that. That's that clearing part. So in our daily practice, we get to do that for ourselves each and every day. Melanie, how are you today? What's going on? And I get to just, this is how I'm feeling. This is how I'm feeling. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm reflecting on. And then I get to work at clearing those old patterns that aren't serving me anymore. And then I get to sit with myself, with that expanded version of myself, and feeling that connection with greater life. And so through my practice, I have found that this is a beautiful way of deepening my self-love, of deepening my self-awareness, of really getting to know myself at deeper levels. So I hope that you will take this information and will begin to put it into practice for yourself. Again, my name is Melanie Williams, and my website is melaniejwilliams.com. Thank you so much for listening. Namaste.